Hello, this is Logan Murphy, and for this video we're going to be checking items out from our cart. So let's just get to the SQL. New, and we gotta know who's checking out. And that's pretty much it. And we're going to update film in cart table. We're going to set, actually we also need to know the date. Just going to put this for now. We're going to actually set it with PHP. So we're going to set purchase date equals the variable date, where customer ID equals the variable customer ID, and purchase date is null. You can't purchase something twice. Well, you can, but you can't purchase the exact same thing twice. Like the exact same thing. And that's pretty much it. So, let's make the page. We're going to, it's just going to be functional, so we're just going to put it in the PHP folder. Because all that's going to be in here is PHP, and it's going to be called checkout. And I'm actually, no, it's fine. So, session start, session commit, and we're going to get the customer. And we're going to see if there is a customer. If there is a customer, then we'll connect to the database. Root Skilla. Close the database before we forget. Set up our variables. Which is just a copy paste. Question mark. Question mark. So we need to make the date. So we'll come back to that. But we need to call the date function. YMD, year, month, date, hour, minute, second. So there's a function in PHP called date, and it takes a format, a string format of a date. So string format, Y means year. It'll be a 4-digit year, like 2006. It'll be a dash, just dash is dash. M is the month, 2 digits, like 03, or dash is dash, once again. D is day, 2 digits, like 08. Space is space. H is hour, 2 digits, 00 to 23. Colon is colon. I is minute, 2 digits. Colon is colon, and second is 2 digits. And that usually causes an error. So let's see. php/checkout.php. And you're going to see an error that looks like this. There's a whole bunch of stuff. This is the important part. and you're just gonna put America / New York, or wherever you live. If you wanted to find out, Control-C, Control-V, takes you to Google, go to default, go to the manual for this function, scroll down, and it says list of supported time zones, choose your country, and then you can Control F for your state. And I'm just going to put a link to this page at the bottom of this video when it's all done, so you don't really have to remember all those steps or anything. Should be pretty easy, but yeah. Refresh, and it's fine. So, MySQL never stored the connection. Statement bind param, and we're going to bind an integer and a string, and the integer is the customer and the string is the date, and we're going to execute the statement, and we are going to close the statement. And we are going to query MySQL query using this database, and we're just going to use the query we made. Save it. Okay, we need to go to cart, and we need to add a button. So first, let's see if number, which is the thing we use to count how many things we've seen, if it's greater than 0, then we'll do something, otherwise we'll do something else. So if there's not, we'll just echo cart is empty. If it is, we'll turn PHP off, and we'll have a form, and its action will be PHP / checkout.php method equals post, and all this will have for now is an input whose type is submit, value is checkout, don't want to check out anymore, but if, yeah, so you see the checkout here now. Okay, now we just need to make sure I'm selecting the right stuff. Okay, good. So, let's look at the database. Let's look at the table we're interested in. Let's do a refresh so we know what's up to date. Let's open up the website. Click checkout. This should disappear. One parameter, so that means that we have a problem with our MySQL. Just keep things over. Just gotta start closing things. Gonna lose track of where I'm at. So where is it at? It says exactly what line it's on. Line 9. It's an error. Expects one parameter to be a statement. I gave it a connection. It's okay. It happens. Continue. And did I do it again? Oh, I never stored the statement. That's important too. Now we don't come back to the page because we don't tell them to come back to the page. And it'll be /cart.php. Do a refresh, and your cart is empty. And if we look here, do a refresh. I'm logged in as customer number 2, and customer number 2 has checked these things out on the same date. Okay, so now I want to see all the receipts I have. So before all the movies, before I say films in your cart, I'm going to have a div the class title, and it'll say receipts. I'm going to move this up, and I'm going to move okay, that's fine now. Just because I want to use the same connection for all my queries, because I'm querying the same database all the time. Okay. We can take this. We can take all of this and also put it here, because we're also going to reuse this variable. Delete that. All we need to do is query the database, so all our variables are defined. And we want to, just so you know what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to get all the receipts a person has. So that means I'm going to have to do a select, because I want to get data star from film in cart where customer ID equals 1, let's just say 1 for now, and we actually need to do a group by the purchase date. And technically number 1 hasn't bought anything, so we'll do number 2 instead. Number 2 has bought one thing, and well, actually that's not active, so we need to fix something. So when we check out, we also need to see where active equals 1 and so you can't purchase something unless it's active. You are the person who originally put it in the cart and it has not been purchased already. That's the only circumstances in which you can purchase something. So let's just take off this group by for now so I can see what this table looks like. So there are 3 things. And we group by, ends up with 1 thing. And let's just say we wanted to get the total price. We would want to do an inner join film on, and I'm going to temporarily rename this film, and I'm going to temporarily name this as film FIC, and f.film ID equals fic.film ID. We'll still only have one row, and we want to get the sum of the film's rental right? I think that's what it's called. But since I'm not sure, let's just scroll over and we can see. Yeah, rental rate. And we also want the purchase date, because that's what we use to determine when something was bought. So this is the total that we spent, because we're summing up the group. Each group gets summed up. So we group by, and then we sum that group. So there could be more than one group. Right now it's just one group that we're summing. But if we had two groups, we would have summed that group with that group, sum this group with this group. You'll see. This will be customer ID, and our query goes here, and we're going to gotta see something real quick. Okay, we're fine. This gives us a table. If we have a table, we're going to get all the rows from that table. We're also going to count stuff here. Actually, no, let's not. So let's just turn PHP off and then back on, and we'll put a div. And I'm going to see has receipt equals false. And if we ever do this while loop, then has receipt equals true. And after the while loop, if has receipt, if we didn't have a receipt, if we don't have any receipts, pretty much. So if this loop ever happens, has receipt is true, because we have a receipt. We just have a receipt. At this point, we don't have a receipt, it's false. If we do the loop a single time, then receipt will become true. Has receipt will become true, because we have a receipt. If it doesn't happen a single time, meaning that there's no receipts, a person doesn't have any receipts, then we're just going to echo you have no receipts. And we're going to put a href, and it's going to say receipt PHP ID, well, date equals, turn PHP back on. We're going to echo the rows purchase date, and we're going to echo it again here, and in parentheses we're going to echo sum, and we're going to temporarily rename this column sum so that we can actually get it from the array. So if we refresh this, there'll be a receipt. So this is line 29. Couldn't fetch. That's new. Let's just see if this works. If I put it in here. Oh, I don't think it can. Oh, okay. So we need to make sure also purchase date is not null for this. Good. Let's try this again. Okay. So at some point, something's getting lost. Maybe it's at this point. Let me move this. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I know exactly what's happening. It'll work now. So this is the receipt, and so PHP is pretty complex. The reason that it wasn't working before, so I used to have this code before I included the header. So I declared this variable C before I included the header. Okay, and when I included the header, it just includes this file. It puts all this PHP code and HTML code and puts it right here. And in this PHP and HTML code, I set the variable C also. So that's why it ended up not working when I put it there. When I put it before, and it works now when I put it after. So that's fine. And of course, this code's starting to get pretty messy, but sometimes this is what you have to deal with. So the cart's empty, and we have this. If we click on it, it has the right stuff up here. %20 just means space, which is good. And eventually we're going to have a page. We could do it now. It's not a big deal. It's going to be select film ID, film or title, and rental rate from film as F, enter, join film in cart as FIC on FIC.film ID equals F.film ID where FIC.purchase date equals a variable. So we go to this page with a date, and we're going to use that date in this query to get this information. And this is just going to be a receipt page, so it's going to be like blankish, I guess, if that's a word. New PHP receipt. Just put that there for now. MySQL connect localhost root Tequila MySQL close, store the connection, MySQL repair $C set at date equals question. I know we didn't do it in the MySQL, but I'm trying to rush this video at this point. Find param $statement string $date comes from the get parameter. We set it as date. This returns a statement. MySQL statement execute this statement. MySQL statement close this statement. MySQL query this database using this query if there's a table while the table has rows, store the table first, and we're just gonna make this quick and painless, I guess. Div $row title $row price. I'm going to put dollar twice in a row because there's going to be an actual dollar sign, but this dollar is a variable, so this is going to be turned into something, and it's all going to be an A tag, and the A tag will be href, single quotes because we already have double quotes, and it will go to film.php id equals row sub film id, and this is not going to work because it doesn't know whose film ID you're getting. So f.film ID, f.title, f.rental rate, save it, come over here, do a refresh, and we get the 3 movies that were, they technically weren't, but they were on our, this should be rental rate. They were inactive. They shouldn't be on there technically. So let me show you what I mean. Do a refresh. There are 3 movies on there because there's 3 dates, but there's 2 that are inactive, but I fixed that code because now we won't set the date if it's inactive. So let's just null these out. Set the null and apply. So just so that we don't have inaccurate data if we refresh this. This shouldn't be null. Crap. We'll just set this to 0, or let's just set them all to 1. And apply, and finish. Open this, go back. So now we have all 3 in the cart. We'll delete bringing hysterical, or whatever that said. We'll do a checkout. We now have a receipt, and that movie that I originally said isn't here anymore. And we have the individual prices, and that's the right price too. So it's a printer-friendly receipt, I guess. It's pretty crappy, but you get the basic idea. So that's how you do a cart using PHP and MySQL. For the next video, I'm going to show you a way to do cart using 2 tables instead of 1. I'm Logan Murphy, and I'll see you next time.